Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of El Supercast. With me today is Jackey from the well-known movie, which is about to turn 50 years old next year, Manos, Hands of Fate.
Yeah, that means I'm getting older too. I'm okay.
Unbelievable.
I'm okay.
I think it's like this. You get wiser. Not necessarily older, but you broaden your horizons more.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love it. I mean, sure it would have been fun to be younger and have a lot more energy or whatever, for this whole thing to take off sooner, but the truth is it's just perfect because I have just the right attitude for this right now.
So let's talk about your book. When can the fans expect to see this really tell-all tale of everything Manos from your perspective?
Yeah, well, I'm just finishing it up, and I'm in fact going to Chicago next week for a week to my co-author's house, Laura Mazuka Toops, and we're going to wrap this thing up pretty much because the deadline is December with the publisher. So just trying to wrap this thing up. It's pretty much done, written, and just details, just little details and indexing and cross-referencing and all the things that an artist like myself really hates to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go and sequester myself at her place in the country for a week, and we're just going to get it done. So yeah, the book should be out early next year. I understand that once the publisher has it in his hands, then it's just a matter of a couple months.
That's not bad.
But I have my cover. I'm just now looking at it. I love it so much. And I have my cover designed by an amazing artist who's been a longtime Facebook friend, Phil Dragish. He's from Croatia, or he's in Croatia. And it's just beautiful. I love it. I love my cover. I can't not wait to hold this book in my hands. In my Manos.
Yes, in my Manos.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait for other people to hold it in their Manos. It's been quite a journey. It started off kind of my stories and my dad's stories from interviewing him and just things I knew and could find out, but it turned into so much more than that. And through this process, I've uncovered information that nobody ever imagined to know, like who the voice is, the woman that did all the women's voices, including mine. I talk about her, and the people that did the music for the soundtrack, which actually is really quite good. The music is very good. A lot of talent there. Mm-hmm. I found out who these people are, the vocalists and the musicians, and learned that they all did quite well in their lives, musically speaking. And things like that. Just so much information that nobody ever imagined. I learned about how Warren's passed and where he came from and how he got to that point and where he went after that. And anyway, it's quite a book. It's I don't know if I'll ever write another book, but that's kind of like women having babies.
Oh, yeah.
Never do this again, But if it's the only book in me, then that's great. I think it's a really good book. I would read it. I have read it.
So, about how many pages do you think it's going to end up being?
Oh, God. Let's see. Well, I don't know, whatever 50,000 words translates to.
I see.
I'm not sure. Over 100 book pages. There's going to be a lot of photographs in there also. And, this is really cool. Y'all know who Joel Hodgson is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he so graciously wrote my foreword to my book, and it's wonderful. He's wow, really, really cool. His take on Manos and MST and how this came to be, it's very nice of him to do.
Oh yeah. So, did you think that you would be writing a book about Manos so close to its 50-year anniversary?
Well, I had been thinking about writing a book about it since probably 2008, 2009. I mean, that's when it entered my mind. And then I started writing a blog just to kind of test that out to see if I could actually write consistently, which I did for about a year. And I was I was just testing out if people were even interested in knowing about it, and turned out that they were. For a while I was writing it, I was getting like 3,000 readers a month. It was pretty interesting to me from all over the world. So that told me that there was interest, and so I just kept putting it out there since like 2010, just putting it out there. I want to write a book, but I can't do it alone. And it's not that I can't write it alone, but that's quite a process. I know nothing about writing books or publishing, so I put it out there, and I made this connection with a Facebook friend, a friend of a friend, actually, and we just hit it off, and it just worked instantly. So we created a contract and decided to work together. So it's Laura Mazuka Toops, who is in Chicago, which is the beauty of the internet. You can work with people pretty much anywhere. And so we started working together, and I started writing, and she guided me, and I'd send her my work, and she'd edit it, and she'd tell me what a pleasure it was editing my work. And what's great is that I'm pretty much writing the whole book and doing all the research, but she'll take it and she'll move things around and change a few words, and she'll just make it pop, She's just magic. She's so good. We work so well together. And so then she went to her contacts, because she's got like 30 years in the business, in editing and publishing, and she's a novelist herself. And so she went to several friends and publishers and talked to people and got the list that they picked the top 3 publishers that my book would probably do best with. And she presented those 3 to me, and I chose the one that I thought would be the best for us. So she wrote a pitch letter and sent it to Bear Manor Media, and we actually got a response within 24 hours. And the publisher was like, yes, I am a big Manos fan. I know about it. I know the potential of this, and please send me some of it. Let me see it. So we did. We sent him 3 chapters in our outline, and within, I'd say, 3 days, he was back to us with a contract. So that's how quick it went. I mean, once we just decided to do it, it just opened up.
That's great.
So I'm very, very excited. I think this book is going to do really well. And it is a good book. I'm very, very proud of it. It's I always knew I could write, but I never knew I could write a whole book, and apparently I can do that.
It's just one of those things, you never know what you can do until you put your mind to it.
Yeah, and it's like people say, if you knew what was involved in the whole thing, you never would have started, because it's huge. I mean, I love it and I hate it. It's like I have learned that I actually could probably be a pretty good private detective. I'm I'm apparently a very good researcher, and it's amazing to me what I've uncovered. It's just astounding to me. And that's because, I mean, part of it, a lot of it is because of who I am, to tell you the truth, because I have connected with people that have talked to me because I was in the movie. And they might not have talked to anybody else, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Like I found one of the wives, for instance.
It's just one of those things where Manos just seems to have this, I don't know what it is, but it just seems to draw people together.
It does. It does. It really does. I mean, it's weird. I can see how religions are formed. I mean, it's almost like that. It's so strange. It definitely has a life of its own. And at this point, I'm just going with it. I'm just following the signs, you know? It's all I can do.
We'll be back.
I'm not in control of this thing anymore, you know. I never was. It's its own thing, and I'm just along for the ride.
All right, let's take a small break here, and we'll be back. This is Torgo saying stick and stay, or Manos will get you. And we're back. This is Torgo welcoming you back to the podcast. Thank you, Torgo. Now get the hell out of my room. So, Manos returns.
Yes.
What is this all about? Another Manos movie? How did this happen?
I know, crazy, right? Well, the truth is, a sequel has to happen. It just has to, and somebody has to do it. And, you know, there was the first sequel that didn't get finished that started in 2010, and my dad was reprising the role of the master, and his scene was filmed. The sheriff, William Bryan Jennings, his son, Brian Jennings, was the sheriff in the sequel, and Diane Marie, who played Maggie, she was in the movie, and all these things got filmed, and the movie never happened. And I always felt bad that didn't get followed through, you know. So anyway, it just kind of came about. It's very, very organically, and kind of in a conversation, it just came about, and suddenly we have this team of amazing people, and Tanya Atomic, who is a Seattle film director, and she's won a few awards for some of her work. I connected with her, and I connected with Steve Foley, who is a writer and editor out of Florida, and Joe Sherlock, who is the creator of Skullface Astronaut Films, who is it's no budget films. Joe Sherlock does these really awesome B movies, and they're no budget. And I met him at Crypticon. And anyway, we've all just kind of come together organically and created this team. And Rachel Jackson is helping us too with the marketing. And she did, as you know, Hands of Felt. Mm-hmm. And my dad has agreed to reprise this role once again at 80 years old. He'll be 80 in a few weeks, if you can imagine that. And it'll be his last time, you know, his last chance. And he's really excited. He's really looking forward to it. So we raised some money. We did a T-shirt campaign, a Manos Returns T-shirt campaign, where we raised enough money to pay my dad so he gets paid for his role. And we're filming him next month, or actually in about 3 weeks. We're going to get his scene out of the way while he's strong and healthy and feeling good. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to launch a Kickstarter here probably in a couple months. We really want we want our foundation really solid, and we're working towards that and getting a lot of things lined up and taken care of before we start raising the real money. We want to have something to show people so that they know that we're really serious. This is going to happen there's no way that I'm going to let the ball drop on this one.
That's great. You know, and I hope that you guys are very successful.
I think we will be. I mean, it's a very funny script. It's not anything that anybody's going to imagine it's going to be. We're not out to make a bad movie. We're going to make the best movie that we can, but it's very tongue-in-cheek, a lot of humor, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it.
I'm going to tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
So, one of my good friends has the movie and showed it to my other friend. And he is the only person I know that ever fell asleep watching Manos Hands of Fate.
Oh, I know several people.
I always have to, hey man, you have to pull through it, man, and watch the whole thing. He's like, no, I'm just not feeling it. He's the odd one out of my friends who knows about Manos.
Showing the restoration, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that is wonderful. So, another thing that I've also heard is that you are doing conventions. So if people want to get in contact with you to be a part of their conventions, how do they do it?
Well, they can go to my website, debbiesmanos.com, and just email me through the website. But, yeah, next year, that's my plan. Next year, God, 2016 is the 50th anniversary since the release of Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to say, too, with the sequel, our goal at this point is to be filming by summertime, which will be the exact time 50 years later that... Manos filmed the first time in the spring-summer of 1966. And if all goes well, we'll be releasing our film right about the time of the 50th anniversary in November of 2016.
That would be fantastic.
Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, yeah. I could just see it now, the Wikipedia entry. 50 years later, the sequel comes out on the same day.
I know, right? Hey, it can happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just wish that the house had survived. The original house.
I know. But luckily, Steve Foley, our writer, is so good, and he makes it work. It's not the same house. It's different, but he makes it work, and it makes sense. So that's all we can do. We can't go back, but we can go forward.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thanks, Pito. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
All right.
We're making it's like a thing now.
Oh yeah. So, this has been another edition of El Supercast. Take care, everyone. Goodbye. And may Manos be with you.